What's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can build an AI persona agent that is responsible to answer your messages with a voice message in your own voice. So basically you can clone your voice, and whenever you receive a message, then it responds to that message in your own voice, and it retrieves the information or the answer from a database of your answers. So if you have frequently asked questions, you can basically generate voice messages and reply to your, let's say, customers, users, fans, or whatever. So I got this idea from Ben AI because he's built a similar AI agent with make.com. So I thought I'm going to show you how you can build this with n8n and Supabase. And he also mentioned that quite often it is used by OnlyFans models, which I'm not sure, but I thought it's very cool for people who have communities, or they just want, to have a bit more interaction with their, let's say, users, followers, without having to put in much, extra time on their own replying to those messages by recording their voice. So let's see live in action how this works. So I have Telegram, but this can be connected to WhatsApp, it can be connected to Instagram messages, it can be connected to Slack, to whatever basically you use. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask when is your birthday? And then what's gonna happen in the background? Basically now we're running the automation, the whole flow. I think, yeah, we finished it. And if we zoom in, we can see that actually the AI agent got the message. It went to OpenAI, it went to the vector store tool, to our database to fetch the reply, and then generated the voice message, and then got back to us in Telegram. And for example, if I get this window back here, I click on the message. My birthday is on July 10th. It's always a fun day to celebrate. How about you? When's your birthday? So as you can see, I clone my own voice and it gets back to me in my own voice. So basically I'm talking just with myself, but imagine this when you're talking with, I don't know, a huge YouTuber who cloned his voice, if you're a huge YouTuber or whatever. Or also what I did, so I added a bit of personal information, but then, for example, another thing that you can ask is, how can I automatically download Gmail attachments to Google Drive? So now it's gonna, again, because I uploaded some info from my videos, what it's gonna do is gonna go into that database, gonna grab that info, and it's gonna generate a voice explaining for, let's say, your customer, client, whatever, how you can actually, automate Gmail attachments to Google Drive. So as you can see, that's it was running, it finished. We can see that we again went to the Supabase vector store tool and we generated it. So I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna play it. You can set up a nifty automated process to download attachments from Gmail directly to Google Drive using a tool like n8n. Here's a quick rundown of how to do it. First, create an account on n8n and dive into the workflow editor. Start by adding a Gmail note. So basically you get the point. It goes through all of the flow. Then one major mistake I did, and this is you should avoid. So for example, when I was uploading a voice or cloning my voice, I didn't actually allowed AI, or basically in that recording, I didn't say the word n8n. Therefore, AI couldn't really understand how correctly I should, express or make that sound, and that's why it makes this mistake. And I thought I'm gonna delete this when I was before filming this video, but I thought that it's actually very good to point that out. If you're building an AI agent, make sure that every sound you want AI to respond with, that you mentioned that sound in recording when you're cloning your voice. So that's very important, and I just wanted to point that out. But now I showed you how everything works. Now let's first of all get into how it's built. So the first thing that it does, there's like AI agent knowledge management with Google Drive, in particular Google Docs. So for example, I have a simple, Google Doc where I store information such as my birthday, my favorite cuisine, and this basically file is in this drive. And for example, every time I upload a file to here, let's say Google Doc, or update the Google Doc, what it does, it essentially then makes an update in the Supabase vector store, and that way we always have the latest information about me, about my videos, or whatever I want to be there. So if you have any questions about how to build this, I'm not gonna show it here because I've actually made a video going step by step how you can build it on Supabase and n8n. So check out this video. I'm gonna put it in the top right corner as well in the card. So you're gonna be able to do it step by step, follow this process. And then if you wanna build it, then come back to this video and you can check how the AI agent itself is built with ElevenLabs. So now let's get into the editor and let's see how basically everything works. So first of all, I have a Telegram trigger. As you can see, it triggers on a message received, and I've built a bot in the Telegram. So let me open up Telegram real quickly. So there's actually like a bot father. So you go to that bot father and you create your own Telegram bot through which you can receive messages. I think there's documentation in this. Yeah, if you go into n8n docs, it basically explains you how to do it, but it's going to be different approach to WhatsApp, to Facebook Messenger, so on. So we don't really want to go too deep into this. But then I think the most important part when it comes to building this is the AI agent itself. And for some reason, I didn't attach the memory, but it's important if you want to keep the AI agent remembering what were the previous messages. So basically in the AI agent, the most important part is going to be the system message. So first what I do, I define a role. So I'm saying you are Eustace V, an AI automation specialist dedicated to helping businesses optimize their operations. You also create engaging YouTube content about AI automation tools like n8n and make.com. Then I give objective, guidelines, and important notes so you can read this by yourself. Also, I'm actually gonna add a link where you can download this workflow by yourself, upload it and run it. And also you can subscribe to my newsletter because I'm going to be sending out my weekly builds that I build for myself or for my clients. So you can download them. Basically, you're going to receive a weekly newsletter where you can, download these workflows. So yeah, subscribe to the newsletter if you want to, stay up to date on these workflows. So yeah, so basically this is the system message. And all I'm doing here is I'm basically, let's say, can I execute it? No, because I don't have a message in the Telegram, but let me just say something. Hey, should have done, let this run. So we're waiting for the message. Let's say, hey, again. Oh, it responded. So yeah, so for example, I triggered the message was hey. Then in the AI agent, we can basically just drop in the text of the message in this field. And again, then you add the system prompt. Then the next thing for the chat model, I actually used for O-Mini because it's the cheapest, and in this case, just for testing purposes, it's really quick, really cheap. But for example, if I would build this for a client, I would use 4.0 most likely. But again, it really comes down to testing. Again, so you can add window buffer memory. In the example that I showed you, the window buffer memory wasn't attached. That means that, for example, if someone was talking with the AI agent through Telegram, the AI agent wasn't remembering the previous messages. So if you add window buffer memory, you then basically can add the message ID from the Telegram. So it's going to remember, going to just follow the conversation, and the context window length in this case was 5, but it was not attached. So in this case, it doesn't really matter. Then we have a vector store tool. So what in here I did, I just said that the data name are documents because, for example, in the Supabase, I store all of the information as documents. So these Google Docs are just called documents. Yeah, so again, you can refer back to that old video and check how I did it step by step. But all I do here, I say contains documents about Eustace, his videos, his personal information, and everything that is relevant to his followers. So again, if you're building an AI influencer or AI persona, you can describe that data in a different ways based on what kind of data there is. Then we have a Supabase vector store. So what this does is basically uses a match documents function and searches the documents table that I have in the Supabase. So basically, again, if, for example, we would go to the docs, you would see there's a Supabase provides a quick start for setting up the vector store. So again, in the video on the top right corner, I showed that step by step, but basically you copy this function, paste it in the Supabase, and it creates this function that is able to fetch the documents based on the vectors in the database. And then for the embeddings, I leave it as a default, which is text embedding 3 small model. What it needs to fetch, and here I also have 4.0 mini as a model. So all of this basically up until this point, so all of this is necessary so we would be able to retrieve the information about me, which is, let's say, in this Google Drive. But then comes probably the trickiest part, and that is setting up ElevenLabs so we would be able to generate those messages. So to do that, you will actually have to create an account in ElevenLabs.io, and you'll see that there are quite a lot of different voices, but since I wanted to reply in my own voice, I created it here. So if you're doing this for the first time, so set up your account, go into add a new voice, and there are 2 options. So the first option is an instant voice clone, and that requires only 2 minutes of audio, which is, you can fire up your microphone, your computer, your phone, whatever, record a 2-minute recording, and it's gonna create a voice clone of your voice. Or what I did in my case was that I added a professional voice clone. So I actually took one of my videos from YouTube, and it was about make.com automation and scraping Google Maps. It was around 30 minutes. I uploaded it here, and for like 6 hours it was analyzing that video, extracting all of the details about my voice, and then, for example, produced a clone. The issue was that in that video I didn't actually mention n8n, therefore AI or the clone didn't really know how to pronounce n8n. So again, if you're building this, make sure that if there's like unknown words for AI, such as n8n, or like technical terms, to make sure that the voice recording that you're providing actually has that technical term. So how do you do this? How do you make the clone? Basically, I reached already the limit of creating the clone. So in this case, let's say if this is available, but this is going to be the same. Click on here. You're going to be redirected to this page. You can give it a name. Then you have an option to either record an audio or to add video files. And you can add up to 25 samples. You can add description, you can add labels, and then you have to confirm that the voice is actually yours. So I'm not gonna go through this on the video because it's quite simple. So just add the name, add your voice, and you can add as many samples as you want, and then you just click add voice, and then once it finishes up, it's gonna send you an email notification saying that the voice is ready. So in this case,
strangers are just family you have yet to come to know.
You can see that I have the voice generated. And for example, if you go into the playground, you can see text to speech interface, and here you can change different parameters of your voice. So you can change the stability, similarity, style exaggeration, and speaker boost. So I played around with these, and actually by increasing these, my voice sounds more like me. And for example, like style exaggeration and similarity, I noticed the most that when I increase them more, the voice sounds more like me. And when I decrease them, actually the voice sounds a lot more fluent than I am, because for example, I'm not a native English speaker. So this makes this a bit more trickier for the AI. But when I reduce this, it seems like, you know, I'm a native English speaker, which I'm not. So when I increase these, it does a lot of uhs, ums, and also speaks a bit slower and with similar intonation to me, which is not probably so natural to an English native speaker. So yeah, that's how it works. And yeah, speaker boost is basically boost the similarity of the synthesized speech and voice at the cost of some generation speed. So for me, for example, that speed is not really necessary, because for example, if I'm chatting through someone through Telegram, you want that you know, to be there a delay between the messages, so it seemed that an actual person recorded that answer. So let's get back to the AI agent and how to actually generate that voice through n8n. And for that, you're gonna have to get an HTTP request. And actually, this is how you're gonna set up. So I'm gonna delete the API key, so don't try to use it later on. But basically, in the URL, you're gonna call this method. So it's v1 text to speech slash, and then you have to enter the voice ID. So if you go back to the ElevenLabs, you go back into the voices and you press on use or not. How did it find
are just fam
view? Oh yeah, you just have to click on view, and there's gonna be voice ID in the search bar. So this is the voice ID. What you're gonna do is you're gonna copy this voice ID, you're gonna paste it here in the URL, and you're gonna select the method post. For the authentication, I chose none, because you have to send an API key in the headers. So enable send headers, then basically in the header parameters add xi-api-key, and there is going to be your API key. So how to get the API key, I actually don't remember myself, but I think, yeah, you go into basically, again, my face now covers this, I'm really sorry, but basically there's at the bottom left corner, there's going to be your workspace. You click on it, you can see it pops up, and here is the API keys. You go here, you just create an API key. I already have this, which I'm going to delete later on, and you paste it here. Then you have content height, application JSON, and then most importantly, what you have to configure is everything else. So for the body, you enable send body. Body content type is going to be JSON, and using field below. So for body parameters, text is the only thing that is important. And in this case, we're going to be taking the text from an AI agent. So whatever this AI agent outputs, we're going to be taking that text and adding it here as a value. Then I added other parameters, which I mentioned: the stability, similarity boost, style, and model ID. So yeah, so I used the use speaker boost, which again makes the sound quality better. I added as a true. Stability, as you can see, 50, similarity boost is 50, style is 50, and then I chose the model ID. And again, this is actually I noticed that this is very important, is that when you choose model ID as V2, it makes the voice really sound like you, because again, I was using previously V1 and it sounded again a lot more fluent than I am, and the voice just sounded like, you know, a proper native English speaker was talking with you. So this is how we enable all of that requests. So I think we have the message. So for example, if I hit test, you can see, oh, so we had already the window buffer memory. So we didn't call the vector store tool, but then it basically creates the data. And I think the last message was only hey. Yeah, hey. So let's see what it responded with.
Hey there, how's it going?
You see, in this case, the AI didn't really need to get into the vector store tool. So this is actually a great example that I didn't think about before, but it didn't need to go into the vector store tool. What it did, it just, you know, used a window buffer memory, and AI responded with just OpenAI. So yeah, it just responded like a human. If you say, hey, it's gonna respond, hey, how are you doing? So again, we generate the voice. It has a key as data, and over here all we do is that we set up a Telegram message. So a resource is going to be message, operation is going to be send audio, chat ID. So we're going to take, I took this ID from here, so I just copied here and pasted over here. So it's like a fixed variable, but you can of course take it from the schema. So input binary field is data. So this is because when it comes in as binary, data is here, and reply markup none, and file name answer.mpga. So yeah, that's gonna be when you basically configure. You can, of course, the file name you can configure it differently, like the name itself, but the extension is mpga that I use. And that's, for example, when you receive it back, it sends as a voice. So again, we can test this step. It's gonna send a new message.
Hey there, how's it going?
And as you can see, essentially what you did, you've built an AI influencer that's able to respond to messages. So again, if you want to keep track of the workflows that I built, subscribe to the newsletter that I have in the description down below. I'm going to be sending out this weekly from now on, so you can always keep track, you know, what workflows I build, what I do, and you know, you can keep track of my latest videos. And also there's going to be a link to Gumroad when you can also download this directly if you don't want to subscribe to the newsletter. So I hope you liked this video, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one.